Hello everyone, welcome to Think Global Education Services SAT Math class. Guys, this is the second video in the series of data analysis. Okay, and data analysis. Now, in this video, we'll be discussing about uh, linear growth, what is linear growth, what is linear decay, exponential growth, exponential decay. We'll understand the significance, and then we'll talk about bar graphs, and then we'll talk about line graphs. So in this video, we'll be discussing these three topics. Now let's start with the significance of linear decay, linear growth, exponential decay, exponential growth. So when I say linear growth, now that means it's definitely increasing linearly. That's the meaning of linear growth. You can also say it's nothing but it's increasing arithmetic progression, increasing AP. If you remember AP, we did that when we were discussing progressions. So for example, if I keep on adding a constant, let's say the initial value is 2, I add plus 1, so it will become 3. Then again I add plus 1, it will become 4. Again I add plus 1, it will become 5, 6, right? Or it could be any factor, let's say 2, and then I increase plus 2, so it will become 4. Then again plus 2, it will become 6. Again plus 2, it will become 8. Again plus 2, that will become 10. So that's a linear growth. That means it's plus 2 every time. So that's growing linearly. It's a linear growth. Similarly, when I talk about linear decay, it's actually decreasing AP. So when we start subtracting a constant, so if I say the initial is 10, then I subtract 2, minus 2, I'll get 8, then minus 2, 6, then I get minus 2, that will be 4, again minus 2, that will be 2, and so on and so forth. So that's decreasing AP, that's linear decay. Now if I talk about the graph of linear growth, you see, as I keep on increasing x, y will also increase linearly. So that's the graph of linear growth. There's always a straight line going up. And similarly, when I talk about a linear decay, it's a linear graph going down. That's a linear decay, right? So a graph going up, linear, of course, it will be a straight line. Similarly, when we talk about exponential growth is actually increasing geometric progression. That's an exponential growth. So for example, if I say, let's say the initial is 2, then I double it, it will be 4. Then again I double it, it will be 8. Then again I double it, it will be 16. Then again I double it, it will be 32. So it's always in the form of exponentials. As you can see, it will be 2 square, then 2 cube, then 2 to the power 4, then 2 to the power 5. So basically, where the common ratio is increasing, or the common ratio is more than 1, then it will be an increase in GP. And that's an exponential growth. So it's an exponential curve going up like this. So that's an exponential increase or exponential growth. Similarly, when we talk about exponential decay, it's actually decreasing GP, where the common ratio is less than 1. So for example, if I start with 32, then again I do half, I divide by 2. So it will be 32 by 2. So that's 16, right? Then again I divide by 2, 8. Then again I divide by 4. Then again I divide by 2. So that's called exponential decay. And the graph will be something like this. It's a curve going down. That's an exponential decay. So guys, you should be aware of these 4 facts: increasing AP, decreasing AP, increasing GP, decreasing GP. The question might ask you, what kind of relationship is there? Linear decay, linear growth, exponential decay. So let's see one question. As I already told you the example, which of the following describes the change in demand from the year 2001 to 2004? So we are focusing on demand. 2001 to 2004, 4, 8, 16, 32. That's actually an increasing GP, right? So that's definitely an exponential growth, right? Because we are multiplying every term by 2. It's a multiplication factor. So it's an increasing GP, that's an exponential growth. I hope this is pretty clear, very straightforward question. Similarly, which of the following could be the graph showing the change in supply? When I look at the change in supply, 8, 6, 4, 2. So that's a linear, or I can say that's a decreasing AP, right? So that's a linear decay. So when I say a linear decay, what kind of a graph will be? It will be a straight line going down, and that's option number A again. Because I'm subtracting 2 every time. So you should be able to tell what is linear growth, what is linear decay, what is exponential growth, what is exponential decay. That's one point that may be tested in data analysis. Now, let's talk about the next part, which is a bar graph. Now, a bar graph is pretty straightforward. You can see there are bar drawns, right? There are bars drawn here. This is called a bar graph when the pictorial representation in terms of bar. So we have 4 variables here. We have juice, we have coffee, we have tea, we have soft drink. And the dark bar tells me caffeine and the light bar tells me the sugar content in all these 4 variables. So that's what they are explaining. 4 drinks, juice, coffee, tea and soft drink were rated on a scale of 0 to 5 based on their caffeine and sugar content, where 0 corresponds to the minimum content and 5 corresponds to the maximum content. The bar graph above shown caffeine and sugar ratings for 4 drinks. Now let's read the question, what they want me to do with this bar graph, what values I have to extract from this graph. If the given data represented on a scatter plot where x-axis would represent sugar content and y-axis would represent caffeine content. So basically what they want me to do is, they want me to represent this data in a scatter plot. So I have to convert this bar graph. So I have to convert the bar graph into a scatter plot. Now where the x-axis would represent sugar, so the x-axis would represent sugar here, and the y-axis would represent caffeine. Then how many points in the scatter plot would lie above the line y is equal to x? Now if you remember, I told you in coordinate, this line is very important, y is equal to x. This is a line which exactly bisects the coordinate y is equal to x. Now on this line, y will always be equal to x. That means the sugar and caffeine content will also be always be equal. So if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, similarly I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So let's try to plot it. Now if I try to plot juice, now for juice, the sugar content, that means the x is 4 and the y content, that is caffeine, is 0. So it's actually 4, 0. 4, 0 will be this point. So this is juice here. The sugar content is 4, the caffeine content is 0. For coffee, I can clearly see the caffeine content, the sugar content is 1, so the x coordinate is 1, and the y coordinate is 5 because the caffeine content is 5. So this point is 1, 5. So 1, 5 is definitely here. So this point represents coffee. Similarly, tea, when I talk about tea, x represents sugar. So what's the value of x here? 2. And what's the caffeine content? Again 2. So this is definitely lying on the line that is 2, 2, right? So this is tea. And when I try to plot soft drink, the sugar content is 4 and the caffeine content is 3. The sugar content is 4 and the caffeine content is 3. This point is definitely below the line. The sugar content is 4 and the caffeine content is 3. So as you also know the fact that if above the line y is always greater than x and below the line x is always greater than y. So that's one way, and I can tell that how many points in the scattered plot would lie above the line is equal to y is equal to x. That's simply coffee. That's one point that is lying above the line y is equal to x. So that's one way you can also plot it. The another way is you should be aware of a fact that above the line y coordinate is always more, below the line x coordinate is always more, right? So the y coordinate is always more. So here the y coordinate is only more in the caffeine content, right? So the caffeine content will be the point, or the coffee will always be above the line because the y content is more in coffee. So I hope guys this question is clear to everyone. So there's only one point which is lying above the line y is equal to x. Now Let's take one question on line graph. So before that, let's do one more question on the same information. It says, what is the percent decrease in the caffeine rating from coffee to tea? So from coffee to tea, if I look at the caffeine rating, the caffeine rating in coffee is 5 and the caffeine rating in tea is 2. So again, what's the percent decrease from 5 to 2? That's difference over original. Now original will be 5 here. So remember guys, I told you in percent increase, the original is always the lower value. But if I'm going for percent decrease, the original is always the higher value. So this actually percent decrease. So the original will always be the higher value. 5 minus 2 over 5 times 100. That's 3 over 5 times 100. That will be 60%. 3 into 20, 60. So I just have to take the caffeine rating. So it's all about extracting the right information from the pictorial representation. It could be a bar graph. We have done, it could be a scattered plot, which we done in the last video where we look at the line of the best fit, or it can be a line graph like this, which is coming now. So this is a line graph. So guys, a line graph is nothing. You take scattered plot and then if you just join the line, that becomes a line graph. So when you join the points in the scattered plot, you get a line graph. The above graph shows the average speed for different hours of journey. So x-axis represents time here, y-axis represents average speed. I have the line graph. I have to just take the right information from the graph and answer the question. For which of the following time periods did the average speed first increase? So the average speed first increase, then decrease. So average speed first increase, then decrease. So let me check the options. From 1 to 3, the average speed decrease, then increase. So gone. I'm looking for first increase, then decrease. 3 to 5. If I go for 3 to 5, I can clearly see 3 to 5, it's only increasing. Gone. Right? So now if I look at from 4 to 6, that means from 4 to 6. 4 to 6, it's increase and then decrease. And that's what I was looking for. It has to be increase first and then decrease. So you have to read the graph carefully and mark your answer accordingly. So that's a pretty easy question. I believe everyone understood it. So a line graph is one of the most easiest graph to read. Again, for which of the time period did average speed decrease? Average speed decrease. So when I go for 1 and 2, okay, so I can directly see the average speed decrease. So of course that has to be my answer. I don't have to check anything else. From 2 to 3 increasing, from 3 to 4 increasing, from 4 to 5 increasing. I don't need that. I just need where it's decreasing, that's from 1 to 2. So I directly mark A as my answer. So again guys, it's a very, line graph is always the most easiest graph to interpret. Find the ratio of average speed of the last hour to that of first hour. So I'll just look at the last hour. The average speed in the last hour is around 35. And in the first hour, the average speed is slightly more than 50. So be careful guys. Now for the ratio, it has to be last hour to first hour. So the last hour has to be the numerator. So 35 will be in the numerator. So it can't be C, it can't be D. It can be A and B. And when I look at the denominator, it has to be slightly more than 50. First hour is slightly more than 50. It can't be 48. It has to be A. That is 35 over 52. It's all about how do you interpret the information? How do you read the graph? So I hope guys, this data analysis is sorted. It's all about taking the right information of the graph. It can be a line graph. It can be a bar graph. It can be a scattered plot. Okay. It can be a matrix. So the information can be given to you in any form. You just have to take the right information and you have to answer the question. So I hope guys you like the video. So that's it from data analysis. Bye bye guys.